Yes, bitch, yes, with Tiffany, where conversation rules the nation.
Well, hello, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Yes, Bitch, Yes, where conversation rules the nation. And today I'm going to have a very special conversation with the one and only Britini D'Angelo. But first, let me allow her the proper introduction. You may know her from season 23 of Big Brother, where she made her famous television debut, or from TikTok, where she dances her heart away, or from being a 3-time world champion at the United Fighting Arts Federation World Championship Tournament, or from being a 4th-degree black belt. You may have even seen her at Disney once, twice, or 100 times. You may also know her for bringing awareness to the autism community and by living by the motto, never give up, never back down from a challenge, never quit, never stop believing in yourself and all you can accomplish. I know her as my friend, a huge supporter of everything that I do, and one of the most loving and authentic people. Welcome, Miss Britini D'Angelo.
Oh my gosh. Hi, Tiff. I'm so excited to be here.
Hi,
Why am I like
Britini.
tearing up at that introduction? Oh my God. Like that didn't even sound like it was me, but I know it is, but like it just didn't sound like it when you were saying it.
Of course it's you. And there's so much more I left out. Like I forgot that you, like not forgot, but I hadn't even mentioned that you were a kindergarten teacher. You do so many things. There's so many things to Britini, but I figured I'd save some things and let you share those wonderful things with us. And I had the privilege and the honor of meeting your parents and just like you sharing stories about your family and seeing how close you guys are and the relationship you have. You've always, from the moment I met you, been this positive light, this great influence of positivity and love. And I am always so interested in what makes people be them. And I don't know how you do it. I know that you go through things. I saw that you lost your very close, loving grandmother, who
Yes.
I know you had this super bond with. I remember sitting on the couch with you in the house and you telling me about her and how you knew she was watching and cheering us on. And I still see you every day continue to push through, continue to smile, continue to be optimistic, go out there and pour your heart out, win at everything you do. How do you do it, Britini?
That's a great question. And honestly, I could say the same for you, Tippy Toes. But no, you know what? I just take every day, I wake up every morning and I say, how am I going to utilize this day to the best of my ability? It's kind of how I go about life. And that changes and it ranges every single day. You know what I mean? That doesn't have the same meaning every day for me. So I just try my best to live every day to the maximum amount that I can. And like I said, I don't give myself like a quantitative, like this is what I need to reach in a day. I think it's just what I feel I'm going to reach. And I just kind of let that go exactly where it is. I know you mentioned that I lost my Nana at the beginning of this year and life totally changed for me since then.
Yeah.
To the point where like every day, I saw my Nana every day. She literally lived around the corner from me, 2 blocks down. And not seeing her every day and not getting a hug from her every day and not like spilling my heart out to her every day, good or bad, whatever happened. It's been really different. So at least in the past 4 months, I would say it's been a lot of rebuilding. It's been a lot of, like I said, just taking the day for what it is and not trying to push myself too much because I'm still very much in the grieving process of something that I lost, that I went too soon, you know? So that's kind of where I'm at with the day by day thing. But I'm blessed that I get to live the life that I get to live. And I'm blessed for people who just are in my life, who love me and support me for everything. One of those people being you. And I'm so eternally grateful for that. And yeah, I think that's a perfect way to start this off.
Now, I typically ask my guests a vulnerable question.
Sure.
And the reason I do this is not to make people have to be vulnerable, but to show a different side of who we are, because we were introduced to the world as fully adult people And a lot of people forget that we had a life before we entered the reality TV spectrum. And so, take me to whatever experience you'd like to share, but I want to ask you a two-part question,
Sure.
which is, can you share something with us that in your life that you have been, that has made you proud, and share something about your life that has caused a great disappointment?
Ooh, okay. I will start. Oh, okay. Wow, hard hitting. Okay, here we go. Ooh. So for some reason, my heart's kind of being drawn to the martial arts for both ends of this question, which I'm not really sure why, but I think that that's kind of where my heart's leading me with this one. So I'm going to start with the disappointment, and that's going to lead me to the proudness. The disappointment for me, I would say, was when I was 15 years old. And during the underbelt ranks journey, when you go through martial arts, right, you start at white belt and you go all the way to black belt. And for us, there's 13 belts in the process. And I remember coming home one day when I was a red belt, and I had been a red belt for like a year at that point. Normally you get to test like every 6 months if you're there and you're consistent. And as a 15-year-old on the spectrum who was maturity age 12 at the time, who did not understand why I wasn't advancing, why I wasn't moving up. I just remember this day like it was yesterday. I came home and I told my mother, I want to quit. I want to quit. I want to be done. And the look of disappointment that Kathy D'Angelo gave me on her face was a look that I will never forget. Because it was at that point where I had never really said those words before. Like, I want to quit something. And it was gymnastics. I don't count because I did quit that when I was 12, but the owner of the gym also said I don't have a future in the sport. You probably should go. That's a little bit different. But this was when I gave up on myself. You know what I mean? And I was like, I don't think that I can do this anymore. And I remember, like I said, like it was yesterday, my mom sat me down and she goes, Britt, you're not giving up on this. You're going to give it one more week. If you don't like it after the week, or I think she said the month. It was the week or the month. But she said, if you don't like it after X amount of time, then you can quit. Well, thank goodness she said that to me. And thank goodness I got over it. Because 2 weeks later, I tested for my next belt rank. And then a year after, I got my black belt. Which leads me into the proud moment.
Wow.
Which the proud moment was a phone call that I received 5 weeks ago today from one of our board of directors members saying that you are getting promoted to 5th degree master ranking black belt this July. And Tiff, when I tell you I cried so hard when this happened, and I'm also getting it with my brother Philip, I'm getting it with my cousin Jordan, like we're all getting it together. And that's crazy to me, only because my brother Phil started the sport 3 years before I did. He was the whole reason why I joined. And then my cousin Jordan started 4 years before I did. And the fact that we somehow met at the same year, because I never took a break and they took short ones, craziness. Like it was not supposed to work out this way, but somehow it did. You know, and
now for someone who does not keep up with martial arts, tell me how that ranking that you are receiving and achieving, how important is that? Where does that put you?
For sure. So it took me 5 years to go from white belt to black belt, right? Like that's like the normal journey that you go on as a martial artist. Now, there's 10 degrees in our system. So when you get your first degree, you have to wait at least a year to be eligible to go for your second degree. And then when you get your second degree, you have to wait 2 years to be eligible to test for your third. No guarantee you pass, but that's just the amount of time you have to wait. So as many stars are on your jacket is the amount of years you have to wait to be eligible to get to the next degree. So this July is going to mark 15 years that I've been in the sport.
Okay.
And when I got, so 5th degree means that I go from my white jacket to a completely all black jacket that Grandmaster Chuck Norris is going to put on my back in July.
Oh my
Because this is
gosh.
like the jacket, it's like a whole ceremony. So the jacket gets passed down from each and every board member. Every board member touches your jacket. Grandmaster Norris opens it up, puts it right on you. And this is after we do a 3-minute demonstration in front of everyone that's at Worlds. So this is going to happen for me in 6 weeks. And when I just tell you I crumbled at this phone call, I thought back to 15-year-old Britini in this, like, at my house with my mom. And I was like, 15-year-old Britini didn't say no when, like, she was going to, but she didn't. And look where we're at now. You know what I mean? And I attribute so much of myself to the martial arts and, like, me just becoming more disciplined as someone who was living with autism, as someone who wasn't mature, someone who was battling so many different things growing up on the spectrum to begin with, and all the things that I was trying to learn about myself so quickly. I'm just grateful. So that's kind of where my disappointment leads into the proud moment.
Wow. That's a beautiful 360 and a beautiful, like, circle of life experience to get you from that point to this point. And it also is a living testament to your motto of never give up and never back down from a challenge. Never quit, never stop believing in yourself, because that's something you have proof of what never quitting can do for you.
Correct.
You wouldn't be able to tell this story. You wouldn't be in this. You wouldn't have this euphoric moment of success if you quit. And I think a lot of times we find ourselves in situations that can seem challenging, that we can question whether we can do it, whether it's for us. And sometimes we can give up. And we do need that support of loved ones, people who believe in us, to encourage us to keep going. I remember when I started my business, I was working in my basement. And my uncle came by, and he was the first, like, entrepreneur I ever knew. My uncle comes over and he says, I came over here to talk to you face to face. I wanted to say this face to face to you. He said, one thing about you is you have always been determined, whether it was, to do the right thing or the wrong thing. If you're determined to do it, you're going to do it. Yep. And he said, but what I wanted to say to you is that I believe in you. And he said, I wanted to say that face to face to you because all you need is one person to believe in you.
Yep, that's it.
And sometimes that one person has to be yourself. And that's the tough part. Like, we have to know to have those things inside of us that talk to us and tell us don't quit. But a lot of times we are blessed with a great support system and someone to say, you're not going to quit. You're right there. I believe in you. Yep. You can do this. Keep going. And it's great that you have that support and that your mom was like, just let's not quit right now today while we're in this emotional state.
Yep.
Let's try it out and exhaust all effort. And then if none of that works, then we know we did all we could do. Yes. Well, I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you. You are just like, of someone who will give a 10 out of 10 in what they want to do and strive and thrive in life. I don't see you do half of anything.
I don't think I know what that means.
When you say I am going to do something, you are going to do it. So let me find out let's dig into what's been going on in the life of Britini. Are we still teaching?
We are. I actually took a full-time teaching position in January. So I am teaching full-time. Yep. And it was crazy because I said yes to a full-time teaching position the same week that my Nana passed away. The timing could not have been worse for me. But because I had just started that position, I gave myself one grievance day, and it was funny because HR called me and they were like, Britini, like, you can take the week off. Like, do you need it? And I was like, I would rather be distracted at work building the relationships with the students that I'm going to have for the rest of the year. And I teach 3 different classes of 6th graders. So I'm 6th grade English is what I teach. And I get like, they go in a rotation for me. You know what? I love it. I really do. Like, they're such good kids, and they really have been working so hard for me. And I know that for 11, 12-year-olds, a teacher swap can be a lot. You know what I mean? And this group of kids had to go through it earlier in the year with a different set of swap. So they only have one of their original teachers from the start of the year just because of life. Like, I'm covering a maternity leave. The other person left because she got hired at another school to do a different position. So obviously things happen like that. But I was so grateful for my kids because I had been with them a week.
That's good.
And I came in that Tuesday after my Nana had passed. And I looked at them and I said, you guys are going to have to give me some grace for the next 4 days or more. I said, this is what's happened. And I was very honest with them. And I said, this is what's happened and this is where I'm at. And I'm not all the way here. But I need y'all to pick me up right now because I pick y'all up every day. I said, I need y'all to pick me up right now. And they sure did. And that is why, like, I just watched my kids go play flag football yesterday. Like, that's, like, I will support them in whatever they're doing because that's just the kind of teacher I want to be. But no, so that is new. So I will be finishing out the year, at least to my knowledge. I don't think that I have heard anything else. But I'll be finishing out the year for 6th grade English. And then for next year, that's going to be a conversation. I just took my last certification exam for New York State to become a fully certified teacher. So I took exam number 9 yesterday, or no, last week, Tuesday, I took it. So 9 exams done. 8 of them were essays, and I just didn't want to do any of them, but we took them all. So far, I'm 8 for 8 in passing those exams first try. And I have obviously the one left, and we'll see how we do on that one. And then we're still doing the social media posting. A lot more autism acceptance content has come out in 2024, and training for the World Championships, training for that master's performance in order for me to go get coded. And then I also compete 2 days later. So got to make sure I'm ready for all my divisions and make sure that we are a force to be reckoned with. At least we're going to try to be.
Is that in martial arts or is that for dance?
That is in martial arts.
For martial arts.
Yep. So I will compete, and I do what's called like the kata division. So I don't fight people, so I don't spar. I used to do that, and now I'm gonna be 27 next week, and I'm like, you know what? I don't need to fight. I just like doing the kata part. So I like doing like the routines that either like our system makes, so like our traditional forms, or like I take my double nunchucks and I do my nunchuck form, and then I do like an open hand creative form where I get to create the moves and then put them together. And I enjoy that a lot more because I can control the outcome of how I do. Fighting, there's just a lot of there's a lot of uncertainty when there's a fist coming at your face. Not saying I don't enjoy it, but in competition it can be literally anyone's game.
You know, you named a lot of things that you're involved in, and you know, I remember a time when I just worked a straight 9 to 5, picked my son up from school, came home, cooked dinner, did homework, watched some late night television, went to sleep, and got up the next day and did it all over again.
Did it again.
And I felt like I didn't have time for anything. I was like, they're like, oh, you could work out. I was like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. And so I'm hearing all of these things that you're doing, and I'm like, how in the heck do people utilize their 24 hours in a day? And I mean, you are getting the max. You said something that I want to go back to.
Sure.
Just quick, briefly. You said, you know, you got that job at the same week that your Nana passed. It couldn't have come at a worse time.
Yeah.
But I think that as you were saying that and you were sharing that, I think you might have realized that it was probably the best time.
Yeah. I think that it was crazy too because my Nana was a full-time teacher for 35 years. Like, that's what she did, was teach.
Wow.
And she knew that I was up for this position. Like, she knew that I was in the process. And she was alive for me to tell her that I got it. She was alive. It was a week before. So she, I got a notification that I had it a week before. And then that week leading up to her passing was my first week in the job.
Because it can seem overwhelming. Like, how can I do what I need to do when I am trying to process that I just lost someone so extremely dear to me? I lost Sherry last year in August, and we shared such a tight bond. She's my cousin biologically, but she was my big sister. She was in some ways like my mom. She was my best friend. I shared every day. Like I was on her phone every day, and I didn't realize how dependent I was on her, and probably how much I actually got on her nerve. I said, damn, how did she put up with me? I called her every 5 minutes. Good Lord. And she would talk to me too. I said she probably just was like, I gotta leave. She ain't gonna leave me alone. A true Gemini. I have this love with Geminis. Yes, my Gemini sister. I have this love with Geminis. Although I'm a Leo, but Gemini, my moon is in Gemini, my Venus is in Gemini, and there's something else that's in Gemini. So I said, okay, essentially I'm a Gemini, but my rising is in Libra, so it kind of keeps me balanced. But anyway, I understand that loss and filling in that space with responsibility, or just something to keep us, our minds occupied and from wondering. I have felt, and maybe it's because I've tried to tell myself this, that because it's hard, and it also seems like inappropriate to say, but I keep telling myself that life will get better. Like it'll be better, not better now, or not better because of this, but don't look at it as a loss. It is like a transference of energy. Now this person who just was in the human form here to support us can be even more influential and more of an angel. And so that's just how I try to look at it, so that I don't feel like I've lost. I feel like I've gained, and that the things that are happening for me, somehow I'm still picking up the phone going, girl, what you think about this? And she's still going, you got that. You got it. Don't worry about it. You got it. It's all good. So now I'm just like, hey, I know you got some wings out here. Going over there and tell those people to let me in to whatever it is that I'm trying to do. So, I hope that you feel that you have still that connection, and that she is still present with you in the way that when we humanly leave this earth, our energy still continues to vibrate, because energy cannot be created or destroyed. So it just transfers somewhere else.
No, for sure. And I feel like I felt my Nana in so many instances since, and I feel like there are so many ways that she's been with me. Like the week after my Nana passed was my mom's 57th birthday. So like 2 weeks prior, I ordered her like a bundle of 57 balloons. There was like 57 balloons that I had to like blow up. And randomly,
blow up? Who blew up? Like, or like blow up? You blew them up?
Like the balloons, yeah. Up? Yeah, no, I blew them up.
Oh, Julie,
they were like small, but they were like regular balloons, but
I just can't.
Regardless, but I had like 15 of them, and I'm blowing them up, and I'm hitting them in my living room or whatever, because I wanted to surprise my mom, even though my mom really didn't want to celebrate her birthday, obviously, for reason that was her mother. And in this package of 57 balloons, there is one balloon that has the number 85 on it, like completely misplaced. And there are just 57 balloons in here. It says happy 57th birthday, but there's one balloon that says happy 85th. And that's the number that I'm not kidding. That's the number that my Nana would have turned in 2024. And my Nana talked about her 85th birthday up and down the river. No joke. No joke. That was a week after she passed. 1 week.
Yeah.
And then there was another instance.
I always like those things. I like when things like that happen.
It was crazy. And then there was another thing too. I was in Boston. I was emceeing for the Flutie Foundation. I was emceeing their Boston Marathon Fan Fest. Like the Boston Marathon was the next day. We were doing like a whole performance because the Flutie Foundation is the sponsor for the adaptive running program for the marathon. And so we were doing this big thing, and I was going to sing the song You Say by Lauren Daigle. And that was the same song that I sang at my Nana's funeral when we had her service at the church. And it was just, I bawled my eyes afterwards. But like that song now, it has a connection to my Nana. And it was raining. It was gross. Like the weather could not have been worse. until I stepped on stage. I step on stage, Tiff. No qualms. The rain stops. Sky opens. Sun down. For my 4-minute and 10-second song. There was one more song that got sunlight. Clouds came back in. Rain poured down.
Wow.
It was unreal. I was like, oh, there you are. Hi. Nice to see you. I'm like, you're here. So you're going to, okay, so I can't screw this up. Like, you're listening. Okay, here we go. So it was just, I really have had so many moments, even while teaching, where I'm like, I think about my Nana. I'm like, oh gosh, what would Nana do? Nana would not get, like, Nana would poise herself, and she would give a really eloquent response to a child that would make them think about something deeper than what is happening. And I use her so often in my classroom. So often. My kids, you might as well say they know my Nana without knowing my Nana. So much to talk about her. But it's been a journey, and I know that I'm still very much healing from everything, and I'm still trying to figure out what the world work looks like without my Nana here. And I definitely think that counseling is helping. I started counseling in March just because I felt like this, along with some other things, I was like, it's time. I can go back. And it's really been helping me to realize just how amazing my Nana was and how lucky I was to have her for 26 years. I mean, I had her for a quarter of a century, you know what I mean? And most people don't get their grandmas for half that, even a quarter of that time. So I just feel very blessed that I had that relationship with her.
I love that. I was extremely close to my grandma. That was my baby girl. Love her. I'm convinced that she came back in my cat. Tiger's my grandmother. I'm just weird. And I love that you shared these instances of that connection, an unparalleled connection. I love that. You know, I'm listening to you, and there's so much wisdom, and you have always, to me, seemed like just so put together. You're very thought out with the next thing and the next thing, just very intelligent. And I hear you mention, or I just know that you share your autistic diagnosis publicly. And I think there is probably a lot of bias around what autism looks like. And
for sure.
I don't know if I'm just like, because you're my friend, I'm like blind, I don't see it, I don't understand it maybe fully, but I'm like, what about your specific diagnosis do you feel is highlighted? How does it affect you? Because I see someone who is like far beyond a normal or average level of intelligence, social capability, emotional awareness. I just see someone who is overachieving in so many things. How does your diagnosis affect you?
Yeah, so that's a really great question, and something that I actually love answering, because autism presents itself differently in every single person, right? That's why it's called a spectrum. But for me, I get told all the time, oh, I don't see it. Like, where is it? Like, what do you deal with? Because I don't see you going through anything, but what you doing? I mean, I see myself going through a battle every day, but no one else sees that. But no, you know what? It's, there's different, I think the easiest way for me to kind of have everyone understand what I go through is that there's a lot of, I call them like silent battles that I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis that I don't want to say mask because it's the wrong word, but I can come across, I guess, as very normal in a lot of situations, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going through things myself. So for instance, as great as I've become at social situations, they are sometimes literally still to this day a situation where I don't know how to deal with them. And that comes in conflict. Like that comes where like I've had to script out situations. I just did one 2 weeks ago where like I did not know how to talk to somebody and I had to script it out because I did like there was such a disconnect between me and how I was going to communicate my thoughts and my feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know how to put two and two together. So that still literally becomes a situation for me in some circumstances where if I'm uncomfortable in a social situation, I will shut down. And that still happens. Or like that uncomfortability will take over my social ability and it will just nix. Because I don't like feeling uncomfortable in any situation where I'm at. And if I feel uncomfortable, now I've just learned to remove myself, but like those things will still happen. Perseveration is a huge thing that I deal with all the time, to the point where like I can't shut my brain off sometimes. The only time I shut my brain off is when I go to bed.
Share that again.
Perseveration.
Share that term again.
So that is so basically my brain will just, especially when things are hard or when things are uncertainty, where there's nervousness in situations, where there is uncertainty and anxiety in situations, my brain will just go like this, boom, 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 bada boom, bada boom, bada boom, and it will not stop until my head hits a pillow. And I'll just perseverate, or I'll just keep repeating those same thoughts in my head until my head hits the pillow. And that's just kind of one of the silent battles where like no one knows that I'm thinking this thing over and over again in my head, but I do. And then I'll go to bed, and then I'll wake up the next morning. Doesn't mean that it's gone, just means that it's lessened. And that means that, okay, maybe I got some perspective when I went to bed and I was able to turn it off a little bit and gain some insight. But the way that I handle those nervous situations or those anxieties, those take me a lot of time to deal with. It's not just like, I can let it go. That doesn't really exist in Brittany's world. The letting it go takes around 12 to 24 hours. So that's something that it's great. It's and I'm getting better at all these things, right?
It's not so much as crazy. It's not so much as crazy, and it's not even weird to hear.
Yeah.
I'm sure people are maybe watching like my facial expression, like, why is she looking like that? It's so introspective to me. I'm a person who naturally thinks about myself when I hear other people talking about their situations, but I try to consciously focus on what I'm getting and what you're conveying, but I cannot help but self-reflect. And when you were saying that perseveration, am I saying that right?
Yep. Yeah, it's called perseveration. Perseverating.
And how you get fixated on something that is bothering you. And the reason it is such profound to me right now is because that was me last night. I thought I can get so bad into my head. I literally thought I might go crazy last night because I was thinking about something with a family member that was weighing heavily on me, and like how to fix it, and what can I do. And I got no sleep because every time a thought popped in my head, I was like, oh, well, let me Google this. How do I do this then? And then I'm looking up stuff, and it was so intense in my head. I couldn't turn it off. So I completely, like, I can't say I completely understand, but I understand what you mean. And if that is even more intensified than the level that I feel when my mind won't shut off, or these thoughts just keep like hammering at me until I had to go to sleep. And then I couldn't go to sleep, and I tossed and turned, and I had to turn on rain sounds so that I would stop thinking about whatever I was thinking about. And then I finally went to sleep, and I got up this morning, and like you said, the thought tried to come back, and I was like, just not right now.
Yeah.
I can't right now. I did a lot of thinking about it last night. I actually did get up and say I'm going to do one thing, and then I'm going to shut it off, and then I'm going to focus on what I need to focus on. But that's very interesting to hear, because I think that most people, and like you said, that's why it's called a spectrum. I think most people fall somewhere on that spectrum, whether it's lightly or Not all people, but I think most people. And then just, you know, a lot of other things that go into what affects our minds, our diet and our lifestyle and stuff like that. But continue on. I just had to comment on that because it was interesting. Like, and I've wondered sometimes, like, do I need to get tested? And I'm positive I'm not normal. And I don't mean like you're not normal. I just mean like I'm not a regular, normal, average human. I know that inside of me, whether it's environmental, culturally, from my childhood, psychologically, emotionally, just life circumstances, this brain here, and maybe my brain functions, but my mind operates differently, and I know that.
Yeah. No, you know what, Tiff? I always I've been very blessed in the fact that a lot of people talk to me about like wanting to get tested and like how that works and things like that. And I always tell people, if you feel like you want to get tested and start that conversation, I encourage everyone to do it. You know what I mean? I was very fortunate that I had, Mama D's the best that it gets, you know what I mean, in terms of getting the testing that I needed and doing it when I was 22 months old. I mean, she's the best advocate that I've ever had, and she's the person that showed me how to be an advocate for myself. And I tell everyone, you are your own advocate, so whatever you think you need to do or whatever you want to do it. And I say that for almost every aspect in life, because no one's going to fight harder for you than you. You know what I mean? And I've learned that the hard way, especially with being on the spectrum in terms of what I've dealt with. That really is the truth. No one will fight harder for you than you will.
Do you feel that with the work you've done with yourself and knowing the severity and the impact your diagnosis has on you, when earlier in the conversation you made a comment about when you were 15 there was like the maturity level of a 12-year-old. Now you are into your 20s, and do you feel that with the work you've done you have developmentally you are where or beyond where you would be expected to be?
Yeah, I think that, so when I was age 18, so a lot happened between 15 and 18. Those were honestly the three most transformative years in terms of maturity that I had in my growth. So when I was around 18, I was at like 17 or 18. I would say now, when I choose, can be comfortably mature at age 27 and present as a 27-year-old. Do I choose to go that route? Probably not. Like, I'll probably be somewhere around 24, 25. Like, just like my go-lucky, fun personality. Like, I like to be in the moment. I like to have fun, and I like to continue that. But in terms of situations and in terms of how
spirit, there's nothing wrong.
Yeah,
with that.
There it is. It's the youthful spirit, but the maturity is definitely like a 27, 28. Like, I'm not negligent to what this world is offering, and I'm not negligent to the strengths that I possess and what I deserve out of my life, you know. But it's crazy too that even when I was just thinking about what you said, it kind of like hit another thought for me in terms of like things that I still deal with, and one of them is humor. And I was just thinking about us on the show, and I humor is something that I still very much don't understand in a lot of aspects of life. And I like jokes. For the longest time, you would tell me a joke and I'm like, huh? Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't know what you're saying. And like,
Brittany,
I'll never
my
forget.
Humor
Like,
is my humor is extremely dry.
Normally
Everybody
with you,
doesn't get it. So
normally I get your humor, or if I don't get it, I'll just look really cross-eyed at you, and you'll be like, "Brittany, I mean this," and I'm like, "Got it." Or you'll be like, "Brittany, you're too young to know this. You are not allowed to know that yet, so you're not allowed to."
Yes,
one of the two. But like, humor for me has been something that I've really been not, I guess, trying to learn, because I guess that's the wrong statement, but like, I've been getting better at like knowing or being more okay with not knowing. Because like, it's like I can't control what I know and don't know, and I was raised very sheltered, so what I do and don't know sometimes just goes woo, and then if it's not facing me, it's fine. But I think too, I literally just did it. Stimming is another thing that I actually do very normally. I've been doing it this entire conversation. I've just been pulling my hair over here so the camera can't see it. But I go like this.
Okay.
It's like unconscious. I know I'm doing it, but like stims that calm me down were like fixing my hair, cracking my knuckles, counting things in threes, although that's gotten better. Like playing with my hair, just like unconscious things of like things that can relax me in any circumstance, or like if I have a fidget in my hand, normally I have like a fidget spinner or something like that. Stems that really work to allow me to live my life to the fullest. And then masking, I think, would be another one. Masking is something that like, it's basically the way of us in the autism community trying to fit into society or what we think societal norms are with how we act, where masking can sometimes be exhausting. But I see myself, even when like I'm socially tapped out, like I see myself masking to get through something, and I'll come home and I'm just exhausted and I'm done. And I'm like, yep, this is, you went too far tonight, Brittany, and here's bed and you're doing nothing tomorrow. Because I just put myself, like that situation was just so, it could be so like, for instance, I'll use as, and I love,
it's almost like
overwhelming is
right?
the best
like
thing.
It
Like
takes all your energy.
Correct. All my energy, all my strength, and I come home and I am done masking, and I'm like, wow, like that was a lot. And like and there's even times too where like I'll go to certain things and I have to be on the entire night. That's the term that I use. I was trying to find it. I have to be on, and you can't turn it off because there's either people watching you, or there's different interactions that you got to keep having, or like the night just keeps going, right? So you got to be on. And sometimes
do you get headaches from that?
No, surprise. Depends where I'm at. Depends where. Because normally it's just physical exhaustion. Like normally it's just like, I'm like, ugh. And I come home and I'm like, okay, bed. And like not headaches though. Headaches only when like it is like, a loud room. And then it's been happening the whole night. And then I leave and I'm like, wow, okay, here we are.
I get a headache. I get a headache at every meet and greet.
Everyone?
At any time. And I used to also get headaches at every live feed, every live show in the house. Every live show, I had to take Advil. Like I could, and I call it overstimulation. And I say, I noticed that in situations where I'm going to be overly stimulated with people and socializing, I have to keep a Motrin or a Tylenol because something starts happening in my head and I can't, it will not go away. And literally the medicine doesn't make it go away either. Yeah, the medicine doesn't help. The only thing I can do is turn off all the lights, come home, lay down, and just sit in silence.
Yeah, like that. I will say, I like
really wondering about some things. Like,
I will say, even at events too. Like, I'll come home. I remember the finale for Big Brother 25, and I remember, now mind you, this is a really long day, so I'm gonna put this in perspective. So, in the entire morning of the BB 25 finale, yes.
Was I there? Wait,
I thought you were.
I want to remember with you, but hold on, I got to.
No, you were there because you were in the room with me and Chada. You were in the room when we met Saree.
Oh, okay.
You were there.
Okay. Yeah, we had it at the place. Ozza had it at the place, and then we left the place, and then we went. Okay, got it. All right, yes. I'm there. I was there. I'm with you.
Morning of the BB25 finale, I have a 2-hour Uber ride from Anaheim to Malibu. And I shoot a karate ad for a product for 8 hours. Got ready at the shoot, and once the shoot wrapped, got ready. It was my first ever shoot job, I guess. And got ready at the studio. They let me use all the supplies, and I got to do my makeup there. Got ready for the Big Brother finale, went to the Big Brother finale. Literally had my suitcase in the security room of the venue that Ozza had the party at. The party itself was wonderful. Had a blast. It was amazing. Hour before I left, I was like, okay, people are bumping into me. Claustrophobia is about to act up. It is blaring in here. and I keep having people either scream in my ear, nudge me wrong, or I'm just like in a ball. And then there was that moment where like some of the BB25 cast was let out and they went in that like one space at the venue, and it was the most
upstairs
cramped that I had been. And all I did was I looked at Joseph and I said, Joseph, it is time. I said, I need to evacuate the premises. Like before anxiety goes, woo! I was like, the moment's now. So I walked down the stairs, which took me 15 minutes to do. And I'm just like breathing in through my nose, out through my mouth. I catch eye with one of the security guards who took my bag, and they were like, "Oh, we're here. We don't want her to get to here." Yeah, so like and I was so grateful for the security guard. I thanked her when I got down, keyword. But I like had eye contact with her. She already had my bag ready to go, and I walked out and I walked down the street and sat on the side of the curb until Joseph and company came and said, "We got you. You're going." Yeah. So, like, I love the events. I do. But, like, even when I come back from events, I'm like, wow, that was 6 hours. And I feel it. I feel that was 6 hours. And I feel that I was like, okay, so now I just get to... And I love Chada for this, because Chada looked at me and she was like, "You want to go upstairs? I think you need to go upstairs." And I was like, "I think I do too." And so she walks me upstairs and we sit down and she's like, "Wow, Britt," she goes, "You did such a good job tonight. Like, you killed it. Like, you look great. Everyone loves, like, you did fantastic. Like, think about what we did over the past 2 days. We won the lip sync battle and now we're here doing this." And I was like, man, that's a great thing. I'm exhausted. I was like, this is just really my situation.
Am I done?
This is really my situation.
Quit now? Because I'm not a quitter.
No.
Can I just be finished? Never give up, never I want to be finished.
Never give up, never what? I'm kidding. But no, it was so, like, it was just really nice in those moments, because then, like, right after Chada told me that, you walked in the room and you gave me a hug, and all I needed was like a Tiff hug, and you just embraced me and you were like, "I love you, Britt." And I was like, "I love you." And I'm so tired, and like, y'all just get it. Like, everybody knew I was done. Like, everybody knew I was done. And I just like was so appreciative that you all were just like, "We're just gonna love you. Like, we're just gonna show you that, like, it's okay, and like, we get it and you're fine." And I just appreciated that a lot.
You are.
Yeah.
You are.
And also, it's
extremely loving. And
I just love y'all. I thought of something else too, but go first.
What? No. I was just complimenting you, but I could compliment you.
Oh, I thought, well, because I was thinking, I was literally about to write this word down on my notepad, and then I lost it and it came back to me. And I wanted to comment in terms of like how autism presents me today. Subvocalization is the process of me saying words aloud, and if I don't say it, I don't get it. That is probably the biggest way it presents. That's the reason why, to this day, with all of my certification exams, I have a separate room still. Like, I can't test in a room with everybody else, because if I don't talk it out, I don't get it. And I'm like, my testing accommodations are approved by New York State because I've been tested more than once for this. So, like, I need time and a half because it takes me longer to process things, and I need to be able to subvocalize, and I need to be able to talk through. And that goes with testing, that goes with life, that goes with things in my head coming out and being free of my head. If I can speak it aloud, it goes. Or it goes more. Won't say that it works all the time, but it works about 95% of the time. I just thought of that. So before I forgot it, I wanted to say it.
So give me an example of that. What you're saying is...
Sure, problems in my head. Problems in my head, it's going over and over and over again. I'm thinking about it. I can't get it to stop. Call Mama D on the phone. I'm like, "Ma, really need to talk to you about this thing and this thing and this thing and yada, 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 and yada, 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 and this is happening." And she goes, "Britt, this literally means nothing. Let it go." Like, it really means 0. On a scale of 1 to 10, we're at a 0. And then I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye. And then that thought will go. But sometimes it goes, "Hey, Ma, I got to talk to you about this." And she's like, "Okay, we're at like a 6 out of 10. And I'm like, "Okay." She's like, "Okay, how are you feeling?" Like, and we'll go through and we'll go through the steps, or I'll go through it with myself, even if I can't get a hold. I mean, I'm obviously mom's my number one, but like that could be anybody, you know what I mean? But I'll go through myself and I'll be like, okay, how much does this really matter? How much is it going to matter in a week?
Yeah.
In a month, in a year? And then I start to get some practical association to the matter, but that will not happen until I speak it aloud. Like until I say it out loud,
Okay.
I could hold something for a week or 2 weeks. Until I say it out loud, it will then go.
I find this so interesting. I think that it is relatable on so many levels, but I also understand that we all may share an experience or experience something similar in our thought process or our emotions, but I can understand and see how for you it may be that much more heightened than for someone who does not have this diagnosis. And I can only imagine if someone who doesn't, and just trying to function in this society that we live in, and being overwhelmed and overwhelmed with things and the thoughts and socializing and the to-do and the order of things and emotionally letting things go. And then you are trying to process all of these things. But I love and I respect so much of the awareness that you have about you and the things that can throw you off balance, and you have resources that you utilize to acknowledge, hey, this is a trigger for me, and I am triggered, and this is a strategy or a remedy to get me back on track. And I just think that that's something we could all benefit from having, and knowing your limitations, the signs of you being at your limit, and what can get you replenished.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I think it's huge. I mean, I have not learned, I'm sorry, I don't know why I have my mic. I have not learned these things alone. You know what I mean? I've learned these things because I've had an insane village who never gave up on me and who allowed me to learn these things for myself and help me develop the strategies that I've learned to where I'm at the point where I'm so aware of a lot of things. And sometimes I need more of that awareness. Depends on the day. Depends on the situation. You know what I mean? Sometimes I can be like, okay, yep, I'm at that point right there. And then sometimes mom will look over at me and be like, Britt, you're past that point. I'm like, oh, good. Because sometimes I just won't, I'll be in the moment or I'll see something and she's like, yep, so we're just gonna, like, you're there. You're there. And I'm like, okay. And I'm so thankful because I know that so many don't have that village. And I know that that village for me was literally instrumental in making Britini who Britini is, and I'm so thankful that I still have many members of my village still here who, like I said, who love me and who accept me. And like, no matter what crazy thought comes in Britini's head, we don't look at her any differently because she's already a little weird and we're okay with that. Yeah. Like, I accept the weird in all of its entirety.
We're all weird.
I think normal's boring. That's what I always say. I always tell my kids, and they're like, Miss D'Angelo. They're like, Miss D'Angelo, you're weird. And I'm like, yep, and I don't want to be normal. Next. Tell my kids that all the time.
Let me ask you, what does it look like? What does future Britini look like? Like, what do you want to, how do you want your 50-year-old Britini? What is she doing?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. Hopefully living her life to the fullest, because that'd be awesome. No, you know what? At age 50, I would love to be a mother. at that point. I would love to. I've always dreamed of being a mom. I would love to have my
I think
family.
you'd be an amazing mom.
Thank you. I've always dreamed of it. You know what I mean? I want to be the same mom that my mother's been to me, and I want to do that for my kids. But no, I definitely want to be a mom. At that point, like, I have met my husband, so I have still not met him yet. He's somewhere out in this world. But when I do, like, that'll be fantastic. And I can't wait to, I know the capacity of love I have to give to somebody, and I'm really excited for the opportunity to do that. And to show what I know that I can give to another person. I can't wait to finally be given the opportunity to do it. Because I'm really picky. So can't wait for that to happen. And
come on, Gemini. Come on, twin.
I'm real picky. I'm real picky. Well, my whole thing is like, I've only been in one serious relationship in my entire life. Not to divert, but I'll go back. I've only been in one serious relationship in my entire life. And in that relationship, I learned as much as I needed to learn in 6 months about what I will and will not tolerate. And if I just don't make any, I have no room to give you. Like, I expect these things. If these things are not there, next. That's kind of where I'm at. Because at this point, like, I'm going to be turning 27 next week. I'm not dating to date, you know what I mean? But I'm dating to hopefully find a partner. Like, I'm not dating to be like, oh, we're like I want to find a partner. It doesn't have to be a husband at this point, but like, I want to find someone who compliments me, not completes me, is how I always love to say it. Like, I want to compliment her, not I need to be completed, because I don't think I need to be. It's kind of how I go with it. I want to compliment, not a completion.
I love that.
Right? I heard someone say it one time, and I was like, I'm stealing this for myself always.
That needs to be like on a shirt, a coffee mug.
I need someone to compliment me, not complete me.
At your weddings. Or yes, and at your wedding, it will say, the napkins will say, compliments of. Yes, I love that.
That'd be basic.
Compliments.
I also know that at age 50, I will be well into my teaching career at that point. So I can't wait to see where that goes. You know what I mean? I know that I'm starting a new degree coming up in either the summer or the fall. So I'm going for either a second master's or a PhD. My mom really wants me to go for a PhD.
Come on.
I am not for that. I really just want a second master's degree, because my mom has interns from Naga University that like work with her as a school counselor. And so she gets credits to go to NU. So I either can go for a master's in administration and become like Principal D'Angelo, or I can go for a PhD in leadership. This one's harder to get into. I also don't want to do the work to get into that program, because it's a lot. Like, it's a lot of work to get into the program. Not even in the program yet, but I'm going to really like sit down with the admissions counselors and like really figure out exactly what I want to go for, because I will be using this free credit money that she's got. So I guess whatever path I want to go with, that will go towards. But no, so I'm excited to see like where my career goes with that. I don't even know what social media is going to be in 20 years. So I just want to say that I hope that with whatever job path that I ensue, I'm happy, and I'll leave it at that.
That is beautiful. It's a beautiful.
Oh, and future. Also going to Disney, and we'll be in my, at that point, 24th year of annual pass holding. So I guess a lot of Disney trips. So by the time I'm 50, that'd be 24 years. Yeah, we'll still be there. Like, we'll still be enjoying Disney at age 50. That will never go away.
I love that. Because what it shared with us is you just let us know your passions, and that Disney will still be a part of Britini's life.
For sure.
And she's got a extended career in teaching. And I think Principal D'Angelo and Dr. D'Angelo both ring bells, and whichever path you choose, we are proud, and I know that you would serve in any capacity. So I am in awe, and I am inspired, and I'm motivated. And I don't want to say I'm not motivated, because I'm motivated, but I'm not motivated enough.
I am motivated.
I
Here,
don't say you don't motivate me. You do. But I know how moved I am in my own spirit to make these transgressions, you know? But I am so proud of you.
thank you,
You
Tiff.
defy the odds. You are such an overachiever, and I mean that in the most positive and enlightening way. You are a great example and a role model. I would love for you to teach my children, because I know that you are coming from a place of true, genuine passion and compassion and
Thank you.
sincerity when you are being the teacher and the role model that these children need. You know, I love that I met you, that we got to live together, grow together, become friends, become sisters. You've been to my home. You tried to teach me how to dance. Now, I'm going to tell you this. You are great at a lot of things. I'm the challenge. If you can teach me how to dance, then I know you have made it somewhere, because you worked with me and you worked with me. I don't have that whoa yet, but it's not your fault. It's me. I'm the challenge. I am critically challenged in those in the coordination department.
You know, you did not bad, Tiff. Like, you genuinely did not do that bad. Like, even Chad and I were talking about it. We were like,
That's
she
not what I
did
wanna hear,
not do. No, we were gassing you up a little bit though.
She
like
didn't
you
do that bad. Nothing on.
Well, no, because you always look at us and
She
you're
didn't
like,
do that bad.
no, you always look at John and
Because
I
y'all
and you're
so
like,
smooth.
well, because you look at us and you're like, man, I suck. I'm terrible. Like, like the line that you just said, if you can teach me how to dance, you got some form of talent, and then we'll teach you. And you're like, yeah. And we're like, that wasn't bad. And you look at us and you're like, what does that mean? What's that mean? That's not bad. Like, I remember specifically teaching you the woe, and I
videos back
to you when I was teaching you the woe, and you did it, and I was like, Tiff, that wasn't bad, and you're like, but it wasn't good. But it wasn't good.
But it wasn't good. But it wasn't good.
We're getting there. It's a process. It's what dance is. Dance is an ever-going process. You know what I mean? So I feel like that, like, just those things, we'll get there. We got it. We got it. We have many more dances. There's dances being created every single day. I could come to Michigan right now and teach you at least 7 that I recorded this morning. Mostly because
Yes.
I had to get my content ready for this morning.
Yes. Well, in the spirit of remaining genuine and authentic, I won't pretend that I can dance. And that I won't psych myself up either about
really
you
not
teaching
that bad,
me
I swear.
7 dances. I might get 1. Well, I do want to thank you for joining me, for sharing your story, your journey. You have enlightened me so much about so many things. You are an inspiration. I adore you. I really do. And I love that you continue to living your truth and not let anyone dim your light.
Thank you, Tiff. You already know. I'm like trying not to cry right now.
Do that.
Thank you, Tiff.
Continue to do that. People will try. People love the light and they want it for themselves, and people will try. And I love to see you be persistent in your own determination to excel, to achieve, to do well, to make your family proud, to be an example. You are way more than you even think you are. There's so much there. And I just look forward to seeing you blossom. You're already blossoming. And
Thank you, Tiff.
I love it. I love it. Brittany, thank you for joining us. And please
for having me,
share
Tiff.
these socials of where we can follow more of Britini D'Angelo's journey?
Sure. So first and foremost, Tiff, I just want to say thank you and I love you. And Tiff already knows that we're going to be sisters for life, but that means more than you can say in words. So just thank you. My social handles are Britini_D'Angelo. That is on Instagram. You will get a little bit of everything. TikTok is going to mostly be dancing. And when Big Brother season starts, a lot of Big Brother updates. So get ready for those. And YouTube, which we actually have one now. And I've been convinced by more than one person to actually make a channel. So all of those are Britini_D'Angelo. And then Facebook is just Britini D'Angelo. So we're spliced a little bit everywhere. Like I said, Instagram's going to be a kind of full picture moment. TikTok's going to be kind of full picture, but we do dance a lot on there. So just be ready for all of the dances. And it's just, we're having fun. Like, that's my whole thing is, for me, social media is an extension of who I am. And when it stops becoming fun, then I have a problem. So I want to make sure that social media always keeps very organic and keeps being fun for me. Because if it's not fun for me, it's not going to be fun for y'all watching. So we're having fun. Just know that if I fall on my face, I probably did it for a good reason.
I truly hope to have you as a guest on the Royalty during the Big Brother season so we can get some of your takes. And I know if time permits, if you're not busy doing the 75 million things that you have to do, I'm sure you'll join us. But I look forward to having you again, and I look forward to having you back on YBY.
Oh, I can't wait. I will come back, Tiff, whenever you want me back. I'm back. This was so awesome.
Thank you.
The perfect way to spend my day. Like, this was wonderful. And just know that I love you and I'm so proud of you. And just like I told Tiff before this podcast even was recording, I said it is a testament to her that she gets to have an entire podcast of her own with so many people who listen to her and love her. And I said, this is just, if you want to know the Tiffany Mitchell effect, if you want to know the Tippy Toes effect, you're experiencing it right now. So just know that you got one of the best hosts in the biz, and I'm so proud of my sis.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you. With that, we're signing off.